Cultural differences are always likely to trip you up in ways that you cannot possibly predict. And it is often quite surprising just how much of what you assume to be normal is in fact a part of your unique culture. Most of you have probably heard the usual advice for visitors to Germany: don't expect air conditioning, don't mention the war, bring cash. But I'd like to talk about two things that are very rarely mentioned: romance and respect for the military. I have been asked a couple of times by Americans how to correctly fold the German flag because they want to build a display case for it. And if you're not American, you're probably watching this right now and thinking, wait, what? This is a tradition of the US Army and Navy. At the end of the day, the flag is lowered and folded in a very specific way, ending with a triangular shape that shows only the stars. At a military funeral, the family of the deceased are presented with a flag folded in this way, which they can put in a special triangular display case. But this is an American tradition completely unknown anywhere else. In Germany, flags simply don't carry the same significance. They represent an abstract concept like a country, but other than that, they are simply pieces of cloth. In general, American culture demands great respect for the military. Soldiers in uniform are often thanked for their service by complete strangers, and there is great honor attached to being in the military. Germans are a bit more cautious of heavily armed men in uniform. After all, some of the darkest chapters in this country's history have been caused by heavily armed men in uniform. It's not that Germans in general hate the military, although some do find the prospect of Germans taking part in a war deeply troubling. Being a soldier is work, not a status. It's dangerous work, of course, but so is tree felling, and nobody worships lumberjacks. So the attitude here to the military is, maybe it's necessary, but we should really have as little of it as possible. And we really don't want to glorify war. So let us leave the military now and segue seamlessly into the world of love and romance. And yet again, this is an area that I often see Americans struggling with. Dating in Germany is quite a bit different from what many Americans, and particularly middle-class Americans, are used to. In Germany, the whole idea of having all those rules about the first date, what you can and can't do, where to go, what to say, who should pay, and all the rest of it, that's all just pointless and meaningless ritual, and very, very American. In Germany, what generally happens is that two people who like each other find ways of spending time together. Generally, of course, different people have different expectations, and there are certainly quite a lot of German girls who would love an American man to come along and sweep her off her feet and spend vast amounts of money on wooing her. But don't be surprised or disappointed if it doesn't happen that way. So you spend time together and hope that chemistry happens, and if chemistry happens, then congratulations. Now try not to do anything stupid to mess it all up. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And men, if chemistry doesn't happen, give in gracefully. On the other hand, ladies, you don't have to wait for him to make the first move. A lot of young German men out there are anxious not to be thought of as creeps. So he might just be holding back. If things go really well, a proposal of marriage may be on the horizon, and this is where things can get very interesting indeed. Middle-class Americans often make a big show of it. Everything is planned in advance, a time and a place are very carefully selected. Sometimes friends are roped in to help, and a ridiculously expensive diamond ring is involved. A proposal in a public place might result in applause and congratulations, assuming she accepts. None of that normally happens here. Men, your German girlfriend might not appreciate that kind of proposal. My advice would be to play it safe and do it in private so that she doesn't feel pressured into accepting. You can give her a ring, and that's a very nice touch, but if you do, don't blow 2 months' salary on it. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to send me a postcard, here's the address. And don't forget to visit my website and follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Also, if you'd like access to special bonus content and help with the costs of running this channel, please consider making a small monthly donation on Patreon.